So Roberta is not in this episode. She actually came up with this episode idea, which I think was awesome. And the reason that I wanted to have Maddie on the podcast today just by yourself is because you're one of the newest members on the team. You have been a client of ours before you were a coach, but you also haven't been in our space for long as a coach. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to get to know you a little bit better, and to give yourself a little bit of time to really like explain the things that you're really good at with coaching, so that as it comes to working with clients and people getting to know you as they come into our service, they already know who Maddie kind of is. So what I've done, I've got a bunch of questions that I'm going to ask you. This may take a completely different angle depending on your answers, but we'll jump straight into it.
Yep, let's go.
How are you feeling about opening up?
You know, should be right.
Okay, so I've got like 2 parts that I want to go through with today. Because you were a client first and you were my client first, I want to kind of delve into that, and then we'll talk about you now as a coach. So the first question that I have is, I want to know what your relationship with training and food was like before you started working with a coach.
Yeah, so I was a trainer when we started. So I was a PT and I was studying, I had just finished exercise science as my bachelor's, and I was studying exercise physiology towards the back end of when we started working together. So training for me was always a stress reliever. My training has never been an issue. For me, nutrition has always been an issue in terms of emotional eating and mental health. For me, food's a big thing with that. But that before I started working with you, that's what I wanted. I wanted someone to help me with my nutrition because I didn't understand it nearly as much as I do now. But obviously training comes with that, and I had never tracked my training in a way that we had done before.
Yeah, okay. When it comes to your training, I always felt like you knew what you were doing but kind of just needed a bit of a push.
Yeah, it was just because it was decision fatigue.
Well,
like
that's
I just
right,
needed someone
yeah.
to do it for me, tell me what to do, when to do it.
We had a lot of conversations around that.
Yeah,
hey?
because I was working like 3 or 4 jobs. I was studying. I was out of home. I was doing so many things, and I was just like, I don't want to program for myself. So that's where you came in.
Yeah, and then with your nutrition, which I know is the biggest topic and the biggest thing that we worked on, I want to know, like, what do you feel having a coach helped you achieve when you were struggling with that?
Like extremes, you don't have to go to extremes, and that balance is always going to be there. But also, if it fits my macros, isn't necessarily the best way to live your life, and that health is always going to be the most important thing.
Yeah, I know that it's like a matter of, if you already know these things, you kind of, but like you can't take action on them. You almost need somebody in your corner to remind you of these things.
Yeah, and I described it to you for so long. Like I felt like I was like running on a treadmill, but not actually like
Going anywhere.
Yeah, like as opposed to running outside. Like I just felt like I was just in a constant loop.
I personally feel like when it comes to the loop that you were going through at the time, what I noticed is like you are still quite hard on yourself now, but
it was worse, guys, which is crazy.
Yeah, like you were so much harder on yourself. And I remember having so many conversations with you when you felt like giving up and you felt like quitting because you were so frustrated with not being able to follow through to the best of your ability or what you thought was the best of your ability. What I noticed as a coach working with you was the fact that the coaching really allowed you to, I guess, like open up to yourself and your own patterns and habits, which I know you knew what they were, but it was almost like you didn't have the tools to deal with them. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it was definitely from a place of understanding, and you made me understand my cycles a lot more and my habits that I couldn't break and these loops that I was stuck in, and how I could kind of work from that.
Yeah. So when it comes to nutrition now, like I want you to kind of unpack for the listeners. Obviously, like a lot of our listeners are our own clients, but also people who might be going through something similar.
Yeah.
What are the things that we specifically did together that you think helped you the most with getting out of these patterns?
Jesus, it was so long ago.
Yeah.
Meal prepping. You taught me that meal prepping was so important, and preparing ahead and making sure that I had things there. Otherwise, I would just, eat what was ever at home and little things like that. And nutrition for me, like you taught me that it's not necessarily about the things that I could do. For me, it was more like it's okay when that things do happen.
Yeah.
And that you need to be less stringent with yourself. Like if I was working till 3 a.m. and I got a pizza because that was the only thing like that I could eat, and I would literally voice note you from the cooler room, like almost crying, saying, oh my God, I just ate this whole pizza, but it's midnight and I haven't eaten since 4. And you'd be like, it's okay. It's just about what you do tomorrow and show up for yourself tomorrow. So that's what has instilled in me of like, I can have a meal, I can do this, I can do that. And yes, if I do get into a day or two where I've eaten more things that I probably wouldn't have, that like the next day is a new day and you can just go back to what you're doing.
Yeah, like keep going. Just keep
going. Don't completely give up and get into this cycle, because I used to just like give up, go into fuck it mode, and then spent weeks and weeks and weeks of feeling like shit because of these things that I deprived myself of, and then start again.
I know that we work with a lot of clients that also go through this stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do you feel like your experience with that has helped you be able to be a better coach for them?
I think it's because, like you used to say to me, you see yourself, you saw me in yourself. I see myself in my clients, and it allows me to relate to them a lot more, which like makes them feel a bit more at ease. And like, I know not always the right thing to do, but I do let them know like the mistakes that I have made as a person, and let them know that it's okay, and validate what they're feeling. But I also say like, this is where we need to do this instead, or implement that to stop this from becoming an even bigger pattern, because I don't want to see them in that.
Yeah, I actually think, like, just to go into your point about like whether sharing your previous experience with clients is a good or bad thing, I actually think that it's important, and it is a good thing, because not only does it develop trust because they know you've been through the same experience, but it develops a better relationship. And as we always talk about, you know, like you want to make sure that your clients and you have the best relationship so that they can be open and they can be vulnerable, because otherwise if you're not, then it's really hard to move through barriers that are holding you back.
I also don't want them to think that I'm perfect.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
oh, I can't tell Maddie I didn't do this, or I didn't do this and Maddie's going to be so mad because she does that. It's like, no, like I've had my own trials, tribulations. I still struggle with things like my nutrition, though so much better, is still not that great. And it's important for them to know that we're human.
Yeah. What do you think, what's your thoughts on the saying of like, you can't coach what you don't do, versus the saying you can coach what you've gone through? Because they're two different kind of ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I don't like that you can't coach what you don't do, because you don't know what I've done before, and you don't know what I've experienced as a person or what I've seen in other people. And all of these things form how other people, how you converse with other people and how you read other people. Just because I necessarily didn't go through or currently do an issue or what someone's struggling with doesn't mean I can't empathize and put plans into place
and give them strategies and things like that. Yeah, I know that a lot of coaches in this industry are quite harsh on the fact of like, you know, you need to set the same standard for yourself you set for your clients. But the thing that I love about you is you still hold yourself to the standards, but you recognize that like the plan of attack might be a little bit different. How do you go with like going through your own struggles but also coaching clients through theirs? Do you ever get overwhelmed by it, or do you feel like you can manage it?
Sometimes I feel a bit hypocritical.
Yeah.
And this is something I've struggled with for a long time, of like, I'm telling these people like they should be training, but some days I can't train.
Yeah.
And it's not, I'm like, bro, if you have an opportunity to be better than me, then do it. Like, absolutely, like outshine me. I want you to do that. And it's never like overwhelming in terms of like, oh my God, my client's always doing so much better than me and blah, blah, blah. It's just, oh my God, I want you to do better than me. It's kind of like your own children. Like, I want you to do better than me, and I want you to be able to eventually navigate this on your own and not need me.
Yeah.
But I'm there if you do slip, fall, like literally like a child. I'm there when your mindset's not there, or you think that you've fucked up, or you have fucked up, or something's happened and you don't know how to navigate that. Because training and nutrition, that's the easy part for us to teach people. It's about navigating their mindset around everything.
Yeah. I think as well, the feeling of being hypocritical is so valid. And like, I go through this too. I think every coach would go through it because we see the things that we're critical of self of, but then we will also give those pointers to other people, right? So I think that's just, you can't really escape that.
Yeah.
That being said though, the point that I kind of want to bring forward for you is a reminder that you're not being hypocritical because of the fact that when you are coaching clients through these things and not necessarily like say doing them yourself, you have done them yourself. You've done them before, and not everything that every client's doing is stuff you need to be doing right now based on the phase of life that you're in.
Yeah.
How do you feel you're going at the moment with like navigating the phase that you're in and then also navigating other clients' phases? Because obviously like they're so different from person to person.
I always want to make sure other people are feeling like happy and uplifted and that I'm able to support them. And I will always be there for my clients to go, okay, this is what phase you're in. Training 4 days a week doesn't feel right. Let's go to 3, let's go to 2, focus on some walks, let's put you onto the food journal. Whereas for me, I've gone through some health things and lots of things have happened kind of recently that have kind of like, I give all my capacity to other people and all I have for myself right now is to just be.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me to just be and accept you don't got it in you right now. Like you need to take care of yourself that way.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's like if you can slow down in your own life but then allow yourself to speed up in other people's, it's giving you, I guess, like the ability to help others whilst you deal with your own shit.
Yeah, I'll never not show up for my clients.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think that's the strength about you is you care so much that like you will give everything to them. And the reason that I love working with you and having you on the team is because of that, because like you're genuinely always trying to do the best that you can and that you are giving these people skills for life that you've gone through. And, you know, I've always said one of the biggest things that I love about like working with you on the team is like you have lived experience, and I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who is like struggling with these things right now and maybe is in a position where mindset's not the greatest, or they're not following through, or they're just going through a time where they feel like they don't have the capacity?
Well, if you don't have a coach, get a coach at Within Reach Fitness. But if you do have a coach, or if you have someone that you trust and have that connection with, tell someone. Asking for help is never going to be a sign of weakness, and getting someone else's insight is never going to be something that you should fear. Steph used to tell me all the time that in issues, like when things pop up, you're in it. You're the subjective person in this situation, and you always need that objective view looking at you, coming up with those logical decisions and support strategies to put in place to support the subjective view.
Yeah, I agree with that always, because you're right. Like if you're living in your own world, you kind of only see your own world.
Yeah, it's going to feel like a meltdown in some situations. Like sometimes things feel so heavy that you feel like there's nowhere way out or nothing you can do about it. But by opening up and taking some of that pressure off your shoulders, and like I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, you need to tell me what's going on in your personal life. You don't have to get deep about it, but it's going to affect how you show up in all other areas. And that's what I want to help you with.
Yeah. What would you say is like the biggest thing that you love about seeing these clients achieve now that you are working with them so actively?
Just like the change of like, even if it's not that much of a physical change, and in some cases it's not, like some cases it's like them going, oh no, you're right, I actually do, I can't diet right now. Or yeah, I am feeling overwhelmed, what can I do? And them actively reaching out and then like instilling the things that I'm telling them.
Yeah, I love that, because I feel like it relates so nicely back to where you started and the fact that you can see your clients in yourself and that you know exactly how to help them because of those experiences, and the fact that you can like lean into those things to guide people in the right direction is really cool. I have one final question, and that question is, when it comes to people that are struggling with the stuff that you've gone through and the things that you see your clients going through, what is the biggest piece of advice right now in this moment, apart from get a coach, that you actually have for them that you think will help them take the next step?
In progressing towards their goals?
Yeah, in progressing towards their goals, but also looking after themselves.
It's a hard one. Because sometimes, I suppose my biggest piece of advice is to just meet yourself where you're at. And sometimes you might not be ready, but you need to differentiate whether that's a readiness, an unreadiness out of fear, or an unreadiness out of capacity. And being able to go, okay, well, if it's out of fear, then I should probably just do it. Like, do it, who cares? But if it's out of capacity of like, I physically cannot do this right now, that's okay. Give yourself grace. Take a deep breath. Tomorrow's a new day. Next month is a new month. And that's when we just take care of yourself and you be kind to yourself. And that's the hardest thing. But like, it's the most important thing. To give yourself some of that grace.